Welcome to another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I'm your host, Wize. And today's guest is a powerhouse of purpose and entrepreneurship. Born and raised in India, she carved the trailblazing path through the male dominated tech world of Silicon Valley. Marketing executive, sorry. She dominated the male tech, she, I'm sorry, path to the male dominated tech world at Silicon Valley marketing executive before launching not one, but two mission driven brands. Welcome to the show, Neena Pandey. Hello.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here, and a big hello to all your audience. Thank you so much for having me here.
The pleasure's all mine. Pleasure's all mine. So, you've had such a dynamic career from tech executive to entrepreneur. What sparked your pivot?
So that's an interesting question and a very personal one. So for a very long time, I thought I had it all: a successful career as a marketing executive in Silicon Valley, two amazing kids, and the lifestyle I had worked so hard to build. Um, but there was this quiet voice inside me that that kept me asking, is this it? I realized that I was helping billion-dollar companies grow, but deep down I was yearning to build something of my own. So people ask me, when did you want to be an entrepreneur? And my reply is, for as long as I can remember. So because it's something that's aligned with my values and created impact on a more personal level. And one day I was, just thinking that if I were to die, if I was on my deathbed, what would I, feel uh, apologetic about? What would I feel good about from my life and not so good about? And one thing which stood out was that I didn't try. I didn't want to be doing this for years and then on my deathbed thinking that, oh, I could have done this, but I never had the guts to go out and just to do something of my own. And I think one big factor is also having a well-paying job in Silicon Valley, where it's anywhere was so expensive, and then leaving the comfort of everything and starting something, basically chartering, I mean, basically uh, stepping into uncharted waters. You don't really know what's going to unfold. So this pivot wasn't sudden. It was a slow burn that eventually became impossible to bear. Once I gave myself permission to dream bigger for myself, then there was no coming back. So basically, when I started, I thought that, okay, I'll do it for 2 years or so, 3 years, whatever. I'll see how it goes. And then if not, I'll come back to corporate. But, once you have gotten the feeling of being on your own, that passion, that drive, entrepreneurship, I think for most people, there is no coming back.
How did your upbringing in India shape your approach to leadership and entrepreneurship?
So I grew up in India and then I moved to US. I did my MBA from here and then I started working. My upbringing played a huge role in shaping who I am today. So I grew up in a family with limited resources. We were very rich in values, especially it came to education and independence. And I am one of the three sisters. And at a time where many women in India, they chose to be homemakers, my parents had a very different vision for us. So they believed that education wasn't just about learning, it was about empowerment. And for my parents, ensuring that we were independent meant that nobody could take advantage of our circumstance. They taught us that standing on our own feet was not only an option, that was the only option for us. So we grew up with that mindset and watching their sacrifices and unwavering focus on giving us opportunity to further our career. It really left a lasting impression on me. And I would say that that foundation shaped everything I have done ever since, whether it was stepping into industries where women were, few, or growing businesses from scratch. So it's also why I'm so passionate about women empowerment. We need to embrace independence, break barriers, and carve out the life that we truly want. So I have lived it, and I know the transformative power of transformative power of that mindset. I know your podcast is a lot about mindset as well, and that really played a big role in who I am today and the kind of leader I am. So just to give you a little bit of taste, and this topic is so dear to me. It's so personal that I really feel so happy to tell people about it, and to basically guide them into what could be the answer to their questions, which will go in detail later. But everything starts with mindset. So growing up in India taught me grit, resourcefulness, resilience. You learn very early on that nothing is handed to you. You've got to work for it, fight for it, and stay grounded throughout. So, watching my parents navigate challenges with grace, especially my mother, who was balancing so many things without losing her sense of self, it shaped my definition of leadership. I also saw how communities support each other, and that stayed with me. So, as an entrepreneur, I lead with empathy, but also with high standards. I just don't build businesses. I build ecosystems where people thrive. So it's very interesting you're asking this question. Just yesterday, I posted, I post personal stories on LinkedIn because I really feel that on with each personal story there is a lesson, and how we can grow, how we can adapt, how we can come out as a better human being. And yesterday itself I was posting a story about my personal training and my coach, and the cookie cutter approach and what leadership should look like, not herding, but empowering people. It's not fitting everyone into one box that this is what my mantra is, or this is how I operate, and everybody has to fit in there. But understanding people, understanding their priorities, understanding their passion, every person is going through a unique thing. So understanding what they're going through, their strength, weakness, and adapting leadership style to that person, that I think is the whole mantra of being a good leader. I know it's a very long-winded answer, but as I was telling you that, I'm really passionate about this. And I just want to quote an incident that, growing up in India, I don't know how many of your listeners are from India, but uh, gold is considered to be a huge investment in India. And that's really who parents and families, rely on for education, for marriages, and so on. And we were three sisters, as I was mentioning. And there was one incident in my household when all the gold was in home because there was a wedding, and we had a burglary in our house that night, and everything vanished. And I still get goosebumps. And after that, everyone was basically very disappointed, crying. And then my dad said, these are all material things, we can build it again. As long as I am here, I am capable of earning, you guys are there with me, we'll build everything together. And that story stuck with me because we as human beings, we are capable of everything, we can start from scratch. I mean, there's nothing in the world which can stop us from achieving what we are set out to do. So that is also my message to your viewers, because this is the essence of my entire life.
What inspired you to start String Code, and what does the brand represent to you personally?
Yeah, and string code was born out of a personal need. There's a story behind the brand, and people don't know. String code was born, the inception at least, when I was a marketing executive in Silicon Valley, and I felt that there was, less choice of fashionable clothes for working women, and that inspired me to play with silhouettes, fabrics, and and think of coming out with fashionable clothes for working women while being appropriate. So, and I was tired of choosing between stylish and feeling comfortable. As a busy woman constantly on the go, I really wanted something, I have to pick my kids from the daycare, and I have to go to the work, and then I have to attend a meeting, then maybe cocktails with colleagues. So I didn't want to compromise on style from going from one place to another in my life. And that was really the inception of String Code. And there's one, and why apparel, why women's wear? The story for that is also that I really believe that all women should really wear what they feel like wearing. And when I say that, especially for working women, they're living in Silicon Valley, in here in offices, people judge you sometimes, that I mean, and especially marketing was still, people used to wear high fashion clothes, but in other areas of corporate life people didn't. And I also felt that there was always that judgment, if you're uh, stylish, and if you're wearing clothes which are different from others. But I always wore what I felt like wearing, because, and the reason is not because I'm a rebel. The reason is because I always feel that if there is a harmony, if there is a synchrony between what you're wearing, how you are looking, then the next step you take is the step with confidence. So if you are not feeling one with your skin, with your clothes, then there's a disconnect, and you will never have that level of confidence. So I also felt that when I was looking beautiful, feeling wonderful, the next step I went into the conference rooms, and the next meeting I would crush it. Because when I would walk in, I would see all the eyes turning at me, and I just feel that confidence, that vibe. And that doesn't come from you looking beautiful, that comes from you feeling confident. And that confidence comes from doing what you think is right for you. So I really feel a connection between clothes and confidence. And that is really the mantra behind String Code as well. So String Code means we're all, attached by a string. So it's about community, and it's also about being whole with your genetics. So there is a code going on inside you. There is a code between us all. So, and as long as you are in sync with that code, the next step that you're gonna take is going to have a ripple effect. So that is really the mantra behind String Code. So back to why how I launched it. So these were the drivers all the time. So, and now when I got the opportunity and I really wanted to do this, I have had three businesses, and creating a women's wear line was always my apple of my eye. So personally, String Code represents freedom. It's not about fashion, it's about giving women the confidence to show up as their authentic selves. Every piece is designed to create movement, because women today are always moving. We are celebrating that movement between meetings, motherhood, ambition, self discovery. I wanted to create a brand that moved with them. So this is really, the power behind String Code.
Let's talk about indie roots and what led you to champion artisan creators.
So so basically, one of the significant things that a pattern across all my businesses is that I just don't randomly go, and I don't randomly start a business. It's really about creating an impact. And that's the reason I am a business coach, and I help people like me. I help entrepreneurs break out of their 9 to 5 and create a dream career for themselves, dream business. And just like I went through, I don't want them to if they're worried about their paycheck and they're scared, I always say that you can always create something as a side hustle, and then when that starts picking up, then you can leave your job. But back to Indie Roots, everything that I have done is driven by passion. So Indie Roots is about preserving, old age art and culture, and also giving artisan, the living wages, and a sense of pride, a sense of community. So at Indie Roots, we worked with 10,000 artisan groups, and it started off with India, but then later it moved to, we started covering most Southeast Asia, so Thailand, India and Vietnam. So basically, a lot of countries we used to source from artisan groups, and these are really, it's not happening in big factories. They're like artisans in villages. They're groups, and there's one group, and then somebody monitoring them, and then making sure that the quality is taken care of, teaching them things which they don't know, like packaging and so on. And then I used to go to all these places, to all these small villages where people are, really working on their craft. And later, and you know I, if you think about, if you envision that this is happening in a small village, then it goes to a city, then it goes to a port, then it comes to the US, and here it gets sold in all big uh, all big retail chains, be it, say Pottery Barn and Crate and Barrel, TJ Maxx, Burlington. So basically, from that point to, to basically being sold at such big departmental stores, that's really, I mean, it really humbles me, because those things are not made by machine. They're all made by hand, and it's giving livelihood to an artisan. It's preserving the art, and to the buyer, it's giving a sense of pride that they had their hand in sustainability. All these things naturally sourced, completely 100% sustainable. So for me also, I would have showed you, I don't have a piece right now, but every time I look at that, it gives me a feeling of pride that the earth that we are living, that we are leaving to our kids, it will be good. So being a mother, being a citizen, it just gives me that pride that I'm doing good by the environment, by our kids. And every buyer, it instills the same sense of pride in them. So that was the reason behind going after Indie Roots, and Indie Roots holds very dear to my heart.
What was the inspiration behind your "It's Okay" movement?
That's a very good question. And again, something which is close to my heart. Um, and this actually, the inception happened before COVID, but then it just happened that, we were working and we launched after COVID. So, and it's so important now, post COVID era, that these days people are, really, mental health is a taboo. Let's start by saying that. And especially after COVID, people are insecure about so many things, and even otherwise, so it's okay movement is a movement where, it's basically a charity, where we are telling women, where we are telling our fellow friends and the entire community, that it's okay to be a certain way. It's okay to be it's okay to be obese. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be gay. It's really okay. If you're feeling shitty today, it's okay to feel that. Because whether or not you believe it, but social media these days, they are putting a very false sense of reality out there. So we are actually bringing people out, and we are, asking them to share their stories. Because even the model that you see who's wearing string coat, or or other clothing lines, she also has some insecurity. It's not that she doesn't, she was just born that way, and she doesn't have any insecurity about her body. Their challenges, their struggles, so we all feel that. It's just that, people don't come out and talk about it. And as a result, and this is actually accentuated by social media, that people think whatever they see, a 0 or 2 body, and then they feel that this is reality. They see all the faces with filter, and then they feel that that's how I'm supposed to look. This is the definition of beauty. So we are here to break that. We are here to tell people that no, it's okay to be however you are, and we all feel the same way. And I think, people ask me about body positivity and inclusion. I grew up when I was a kid, all my school life, elementary, middle, and high, I was overweight. I would not say obese, but I was chubby. And I have struggled with this. So, and when I was on my own, then, this was important for me. So I started doing things to reduce my weight. But then so many of us struggle with that. But then what people see is the perfect side of us, which is why I want all of us to come out collectively and talk about our insecurities, because it'll give that ray of hope to a woman out there who's facing the same thing.
How do you define success today versus earlier in your career?
That's a great question. Generally, people ask, how do you define success? But then, you have assigned the timeline to it. So I think it's an interesting question. And I would say that the definition of success has always been the same for me. It's just that the scope changed. So back then, when, I didn't have my business, I was not, I was not at a level where I am today. Even then, so success is all about alignment to me, living a life where your values, passions, and work are in harmony. So it's not just about achieving financial milestones or accolades, though these are very important markers. And there, here I would say that the markers at that time, not only financial but also about reputation, also about fame and everything else other than money, the parameters were lower then, and now they're higher, because as and when you grow, you progress in your career, you look at the next big thing, right? So but it's about, the success is about creating something meaningful and impactful. So, for example, now success is about when I see the businesses I have built making a difference, right? Whether it's about empowering artisans, it's about inspiring women to pursue their dreams, it's about inspiring someone who is stuck in 9 to 5, or, somebody who is not happy with what they're doing and wanted to build something truly wonderful, truly remarkable. So I just wanted to give you a story here. So I have three businesses. My first business, Club Z, it was America's fastest growing franchise in year one. And I soon realized that it was not what I wanted to do the entire life. So it business is completely on autopilot. And I'm very passionate about education, which is why I have, continued to serve that. But there was a kid who came to us, whose mom was like, he doesn't want to go to school because he's not good at what he's doing and people make fun of him. And every morning, he just doesn't want to go. I see that, he's just so he doesn't want to take shower, and he's just, doesn't want to go to school. So, and very sad all the time. So, and a month after we tutored him, his mom called me, and she said that he now wakes up on his own, he takes shower, and he goes to school. He loves being in school, because earlier people used to make fun of him, he was not at the level. Now, his level is elevated, he's, everyone respects him. And mom cried. And I still get goosebumps remembering that. But that was a moment of success to me, that we are making a difference in whatever we are doing. So coming back to, to success, then, I was chasing the next big thing, though all I always had my long term goal, which is that, I wanted to create my own company. And as and when I moved, now it's about empowering others. It's about others who were in the same situation as me, as I was 8 years ago, helping them navigate this. Why I took so long to not do something, to basically not start my business, was I was scared, I didn't have the skills. And I was very you know uh, scared to leave a job, a good paying job, where I was rising through the ranks. But I knew that I had to do something, so I I started on the side and then I left my job. But people now, they are also I was just to tell you, my entire career has been in marketing, yet when I started my own business, the marketing was very different. So no, you won't know things, but you need to take that leap of faith. And there is one mistake which I did, was I didn't take mentorship. I learned by failure, which is why I took such a long time to succeed, and wasted a lot of money along the way.
That was my next question was, what's one mistake you made early in your entrepreneurial journey that taught you something big?
Yeah, and I still think about it, and I feel, that what if what I know today, if I knew it back then, how things would have been different. So there is one message which I want to tell to your audience, that if you are 100% passionate about something, if you take a leap of faith, if you're really, if you work hard. I am an extremely hard worker. I will say that, nothing is, whatever I have done is, only because of luck. Luck plays a big role, but I have worked extremely hard. So if you work hard, if you have your passion right, then you will get there. But it really depends on how long would it take. So for me, I still, my first mistake, as I was just touching upon it early on, that, I started a business when I left my job and I started a business. I had done my own research, the numbers looked phenomenal. It was twice or thrice my full-time salary in year one, year two. And it really, it started off, it happened like that, because even before I opened door, I had clients, and I was doing extremely well. But then when I look at that, after a little while, when I thought about where I wanted to be, I figured that although this was fulfilling my financial goals, but it's not where I see myself long term, 10, 15 years down the line. And that is really a mistake in picking niche. Even though you run numbers, five yearly plan, everything looks good, but then picking a niche is, in reality, it's not just about numbers. It's about, a matter of what you want to do, how you want to be do. So even if, say, for example, you want to be a fitness instructor, but the kind of life that you want to be leading will decide what kind of offer would you have. So and but so that was, uh, I will not call that a mistake per se. And this is where I know you mentioned that, it's in this podcast, it's a lot about mindset. And that's where mindset kicks in, because I soon realized that this is not what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. But instead of thinking that, oh, I failed, now I have to start all over again, I started working on that business, and I started, to break it up into different tasks. Although I didn't have much money. It was, I had little money, but even then I broke the tasks up. I offshored some of the work to outside. And so basically, bottom line, after a while, 80% of my task is done offshore, and then only 20%, including sales, is here in the US. So instead of thinking that I failed, I pivoted, and uh, I thought of putting that on an autopilot, and that business is generating a good amount of money to me on the side, 10K. So, uh, and from there, I started implementing my portfolio career. So basically, having multiple streams on the side, and basically, having my foot in a lot of things. And then, I did Clubsy, and then Indie Roots, and then String Code, and now I'm a coach. So that was the start of a portfolio career for me. So one takeaway is, I would say that, it's, if you think you have failed, maybe setting you up for something bigger. I'm so sorry, I should have, let me just put this on do not disturb. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. So if you think you have failed, it's probably, preparing you for something bigger. Because if you think about these companies, Amazon and Google, they didn't start knowing that they'll be conglomerates. They started from a garage, started from, a studio, and then they failed and they got up, they pivoted, and in the process they created something which is way bigger than what they had set out to do, the vision that they had. So that is my, number one takeaway. And second, mistake that, which is really a, huge burden for me financially, is when I was doing string code. Before that, string code had a different name. It was called three. And I had, if you go by the textbook, I had everything right. I had clear differentiation. I exactly knew where my product fitted because nobody else was serving that market. I exactly, I had all the, the I's dotted and the, I mean, everything was done by, on the paper, it would, appear perfect. And then I I created the entire sampling. I had a sampling unit in India with two tailors, one cutter, and then, some pattern master. So basically a unit in India. And then I had hired somebody doing the sampling for me. And then, we had marketing team here, social media and digital marketing, and we created the first collection. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful, all hand embroidered, natural fabrics. And the embroidery, actually, it was the it was derived from the motifs on Taj Mahal, which is, one of the world's biggest wonder,
Mhm.
and taken the, inspiration from there. And everyone, whoever sees the, the clothes, they are awestruck. It was amazing. But to cut a long story short, I don't want to go too much into detail, but, if you think about your business, it's like a Lego piece, right? I mean, think about a building which you have built on Lego, and then you slowly put pieces together, and then you arrive at your, the top. You build the entire building. And then if one piece, so you talk about, I mean, think about operations, think about sampling, marketing, target market, messaging. There's so many things, right? Trademark, actually, there was one story where my attorney made a mistake and I lost the brand name Indie Roots, which was 8 years into making. So there are so many pieces that if one piece is wrong, then doesn't matter how well the other pieces are, your building will crumble. And that's what happened to me. And I have, in all, for this first debut collection, everything put together, I spent 250K only on the sampling, because, it was hand embroidery and, the natural fabric, silk, and so on. And it's sitting in my garage. I can't market it because, I don't want to market my old brand name, because now I'm putting whatever money into string code. So it's only by word of mouth. People come to me, my friends hold trunk show, and everyone who sees the collection, they're like, wow. But then, just because I didn't have the right guidance, and now I think that if I had just, spent some money into getting a guidance, not only my path to success would have accelerated, my path to market would have shortened. I would not have to spend so much money on mistakes. And last but not the least, you have financial loss, you have your time to market is more. And there is one big thing that you lose alongside in the process, and that's your morale. Because somewhere down the line you feel that, what, I have done so many businesses, first one didn't work out, this one I'm incurring, 250K loss just for my, for my collection. Maybe I don't have it in me. Maybe I need to go back to corporate, or maybe I just, do something else. And I tell you that many people, many close people, to me, family, friends, they actually started, talking about me to their peers, and, it's kind of, passively asking me to go back to corporate. Hey, there's this great opportunity. You want to do this? And one person said, for how long do you want to continue doing this? So if you are not if you don't have it in you that you can get up from failure and then go back to the drawing board, get up after multiple failures, you will stop your pursuit of entrepreneurship. And that's the worst thing, because after that, for your entire life, you would just be thinking that, hey, I didn't have it in me, I'm not cut out for that. And that's the worst thing for your confidence, for your morale, and also for your life.
How do you balance being a mother, a wife, and a global businesswoman?
That's that's a great question, and I'll tell you, I'll start with just telling you what some people think of me. So they see me doing so many businesses, and then my two kids, and then also, I'm a speaker, I'm so active on podcast, and they feel that, I mean, they don't feel it's real. They, I have had comments from good friends on Facebook saying, hey, are you a superwoman or what? And then when I talk about a new venture, and then they're like, again. So, though, that kind of vibe. And my piece of advice to women, to people who are in same situation, similar situation, would be to eliminate all the noises, because that's the only way you're gonna succeed. You're gonna stay true on your path. So, going back to how I balance all this, I would say this comes from years of practice, my meditation practice, my mindfulness practice. And I believe that human brain is capable of so many things. We all have 24 hours in a day, and yet so many people are able to achieve great things in life. And so many people are, just, for lack of better words, complaining about how little time they have, and how, they're always so stressed. I pick route number one, because I really feel that, with right mindset, we have the power to do amazing things. So I have two kids. I have two little kids. One of my kids is in high school, one is in middle school, and I live in Silicon Valley. I live with my husband, and then uh, and back then, when I was just, starting out entrepreneurship, I didn't have many resources. I was a one person team, and yet I was able to to basically squeeze all these things into my life. It's because I want to do it. There is no other way for me. And when that, thought that this is the only way, when that thought becomes your reality, you are able to find your way, you are able to find time for everything in life. And here I again say that it's not that everyone who is starting should put that much of pressure on them, that they need to fit so many things, they need to do this, they need to do that. I would say just start with the right attitude, just start with the right mindset, and take one thing at a time. You don't need to be, I think, earlier you were asking about success. Success is not about getting all these things and having all the successes in one go. It's about taking one small step at a time, perfecting it, and then moving to the other. So, taking dirty, imperfect steps, and along the line, you'll see that you're evolving as a person. Earlier you were able to do X, and then now you have grown your scope to include Y, to include Z. Do not feel intimidated that the results of what you are doing is not showing up right now, or is not, in accordance with what other people are doing. You just need to compare yourself to who you were yesterday, and that's what I do even today. So I'll just tell you a quick story. I'm a fitness freak. I have a exercise routine, and I had, I eat clean. But then I am now, targeting to the next level of fitness, body fat percentage and ultra fitness. And then I hired an instructor, and he dismissed all what I did until now as being a child's play. He was like, okay, I I teach level 1 to 30, and what you're doing is level 1. Did I feel discouraged? Yes, I did. But then you have to get up and you have to compare yourself to who you were yesterday and how much progress have you made. And I recommend the viewers to keep a journal. That comes really, really handy, because now when I see me coming from India and then working, I started off my job in corporate. I did not have technical background, but I started, and I was a little intimidated in the beginning because all my peers, they were engineers and they spoke in technical language. But I quickly realized that the company didn't hire me for my technical skills, they hired me for my marketing skills, and I want to be a badass marketer. So that's what I focused on. So, and I was better each passing day, and people, they respected me. They respected me for my marketing skills, not my technical skills. So, wherever you are, stay true to your goals, keep your eyes focused, and make small improvement every day. So, now when I see my journal of how far I have come, I'm filled with gratitude. And even if now my definition of success has changed, as you said, it doesn't bother me because I see that, overall, I'm making a huge progress and I'm good that way. So that's my, 2 cents to the viewers as well, that whatever you're doing, it's great as long as you're making a teeny tiny progress every day.
What do you wish more entrepreneurs knew when starting out?
Uh, can you repeat the question again?
What do you
What
wish
do entrepreneurs know about?
what do you wish more I'm sorry, what do you wish more women entrepreneurs knew when starting out?
Yeah, so I think if I think of, me before I started out and now, so I think that's the best way of answering this question. Uh, I would, like to tell women entrepreneurs who are, on the fence, who want to do something of their own, who want to, build a life of their dreams, is that start before you are ready. So if I waited for the perfect moment, I'd still be sitting in the corporate office wondering what if. Sometimes the act of starting teaches you what you need to succeed. So I'll just give you an example. I started my you I mean I now, I have a uh, I'm a business coach and I teach people on how to, create a business of their dreams. People who don't even have an idea of their niche, from that point to the launch, I hold their hands and I teach them into doing this. But I have so many other things going on, but this is something which I really wanted to be doing. I mean, without fail. So if you asked me what's one thing, if I did and I did it well, and I would be happy about it. If I had to just pick one thing out of everything, I would pick coaching, because it really gives me the sense of, being able to help others, people like me, right? I mean, giving them life of their dreams, helping them give like life of their dreams. But if I waited for the perfect moment, I would never have been able to start. So don't wait for the perfect moment. So basically, back to my business coach story, I uh, I was one-on-one coach. I was mentoring startups. I was doing, one-on-one coaching to CEOs and all. But I wanted to start my group coaching. And I just took the plunge. I did not have any modules done. I did not know what I'm going to be training people about. And it took me 1 year. And now my vision of how my training program looks like is very different from how I started out to be. And if I had created all my training materials on day one, then I would not have had time to know my target audience and tweak things. So even if you think you don't have anything, take the plunge, because that will teach you into what people need, and that may refine your offering in a way better way than you hoped you could do with just understanding the market, reading the textbook, listening to lectures. The your time in the field, that's unparalleled. You will learn so much by being out there than by doing anything in life. And second thing would be to stay adaptable. So for example, I was telling you a story about Clubsy, that when I ventured into that and I thought that it was probably a mistake, I didn't treat that as a mistake. I treated that as, you know, as my start of something else, which is my portfolio career. I immediately started planning on how do I streamline that business so I can detach myself, that business can run on its own, and I can move on to the business that I am passionate about, which was home decor and my women's wear brand. But if you feel that, this is it, if you have a goal and then you're like, okay, if I get it, then I'm successful, if I don't, then it's not, then it's a very, very bad way of looking at things. You need to stay adaptable. You need to see, if you had a failure, you need to get up and you need to pivot, because that may be your sign of, you creating something more meaningful than what you had initially started out to do. So basically my journey, I started out back then in a fashion school, and then I did I worked in retail, then I did my MBA, then moved to tech, then back to fashion, and then so many things. In between that, I did education, I did home decor, I'm doing coaching. So whatever, my journey has shown me the importance of staying open to new ideas and industries. You don't have to be an expert to begin with, as I said, but you need to have willingness to learn. I had no technical background. I was an executive in Silicon Valley technology company. I started out in education. I had no idea about education system in the US. I had done my MBA from here, but not my, my school, primary and secondary education. But I still, my franchise was America's fastest growing franchise in year one, America's and Canada's. And then my home decor brand, I started out, with $10,000. And with my business grew to $1 million with no ad spend. No ad spend. You heard it right. In
Yeah,
under 2 years. So you can do anything. You just need to have an open mind to learn and to be adaptable.
absolutely. How can I'm sorry, one second. What legacy do you want string code and indie roots and everything else? What do you want that? What do you want that to leave behind? What kind of message?
So that's a great question. When I look back and look at the events, look at whatever businesses I did, even though they may appear random to somebody who is looking at these businesses, okay, education, a tech executive, and then education, home decor, women's wear, coaching, but they are all interconnected. So all these they I didn't choose them at random. So I had my logic behind picking every business, and every business I have created has a deeper purpose. Whether it's providing educational support, the story I told you about of mom crying and saying that now the kid wants to go to school, whether it's promoting artisan craftsmanship, whether it's reviving a dead art, century old art, it's reviving that or providing life, livelihood to artisan. And I just want to take a moment to say that the artisans for indie roots, so for example, the people who work on marble, they're the direct descendants of people who worked on Taj Mahal. So it's that level of skills that we are talking about. But that is dying now because people are moving to more modern things. So it's preserving the art, providing livelihood to them, and empowering women through fashion. It's really, it's my business is not, if I were to say, it's not about clothing, it's about confidence, it's about empowerment. Because if one woman who wears string code and she is able to get into her true self, she's able to break barriers, she's able to build a life that she had always dreamt of with confidence, then I would say that my mission is successful. So through all my offerings and now with my coaching, if somebody is able to, I used to really, I was doing very well in corporate, but my office was 1.5 hours away, and every morning I used to dread, just getting ready, going to office, wasting that much time, and then basically working for somebody and not having a say in the fashion that I have in my ventures. So if anyone is just lugging around life and work and not passionate, not able to basically live up to their true self, what they could do and what they're doing right now, if I could change one person, if I change the life of that one person, I would say that my career, my business coaching is successful. So that really is my legacy, that making a difference in one person's life, making a significant difference in one person's life, be it through coaching, be it through gaining confidence, and whatever happens in the aftermath of what they wear, looking at something which you bought, which somebody bought, which is bringing, which is sustainable, which is good by the planet, and which is adding the livelihood of an artisan, or helping a kid in education. So my legacy, how I want to be remembered, is how I created how a difference in somebody's life.
All right, we're coming to the part of the show where you get to plug away, let everybody know. But yeah, let everybody know how they can support you, support your work, and become part of your mission. So here you go, the solo screen.
Okay, thank you. So it was truly a pleasure to be with all of you and to share my life's journey, my raw moments. And I just wish, that I hope that if it's strikes chord with even one of you, if it inspires you, then I would say that my purpose is solved. And I really want to create an impact in people's life, be it through my businesses, be it through business coaching. So with my business coaching, I was in a situation, in a position 8 years ago, where I was not happy with my job. I was climbing through the ladders, but something in me was not right. I was not passionate, I was not interested, and that actually showed itself, that ramification happened on other aspects of life also. If I am not happy, then my relationship with my kids will suffer, with my spouse will suffer, or I'm not able to enjoy life the way I should be. I mean, and it's just so many things. My health may suffer, I may not want to go to gym because I'm always so tired. So now I help people who want to create a business of their own, be it a small business to to big enterprise. I want them to learn to know it the right way, and I hold their hands. I teach them through everything, how to create an offer, marketing, sales. And even people who don't really know their niche, I help them from picking their niche to launching their businesses. And I feel very satisfied when I get cards in mail, and then there's a student of mine who is an artist, and she started with me, and then she left her job, and she's doing this full time because she was so inspired, and she's making great progress. So but I tell people that you don't have to leave your job. So you can do it as a side hustle, and then when the time is right, you can leave your job. So in as little as 1 hour a day or half hour a day investment, you can build something meaningful in your life. And especially now that we are always under the radar, that the job may be cut anytime, so we're always living in that threat. So that's how, what I empower people to do, to create something on the side even when you're working. And with string code, I would love for the viewers of this code to go and try string code, which is why I am rolling out a coupon. And if you go to the stringcode.com and say happy 25. That's your 25% off on anything string code related. And also for the viewers of this call, I can, if you are contemplating whether you should do a you should start a side hustle, you should a small or big anything, and you want to run it by me, I'm opening up my strategy session to you, and I will ask the host to send the link in the mail. You can follow me on LinkedIn. You can go to my website. My website is neenapandey.com, NEENAPANDEY.com, and you will have everything, all the links there. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. It's NEENAPANDEY, Neena Pandey. So I would love to see you in my feeds, whether or not we are working with each other, because I want to inspire you and I want to be inspired by you. And last but not the least, even if you're working and not thinking of doing anything, you need to build your reputation, because that's your only ticket to having a job, and a job which is fulfilling. So for example, me, I didn't have any PR person back then when I started, and I am Forbes recognized, and I'm also being listed in Marquis Who is Who in America 2025. And I did all that on my own. And even if you're working for somebody, you need to build your reputation on the side. So, and I can help you with that. With these viewers, I give you half hour of strategy session free. Please use that. And nothing will excite me more than seeing people inspired and taking charge of their lives. So, on that note, please connect with me. LinkedIn, Neena Pandey. On Instagram, I am Neena Pandey. And my website, neenapandey.com. Please connect with me. I would love to see you guys and meet with some of you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That was wonderful. Um, I greatly appreciate you being a guest. It was my pleasure having you on, and you sharing your story, and sharing your experiences, and I'm just thankful for having you.
Thank you so much. This is an amazing audience, I would say, and amazing host. Really appreciate the time today and hearing my story, right? Spending your time and hearing my story. Thank you to
Absolutely.
you as well.
Thank you. Um, but before you leave, let me don't leave yet. Let me close out the show and we'll chat a little bit off
Yeah,
the air. But thank you so much for being such a great guest. I greatly appreciate it.
yeah, of course.
All right, another great episode is in the books. Thank you to everybody out there who tuned in. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I don't care if you see it now live or if you check it out later on a replay. I greatly appreciate it. Big shout out to the Real Wise fam, Bobby J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Shout out to the boss lady. Love you and appreciate everything you do. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. You know, your boy Wise does it. Peace out.